All right, we're back. Part 2, everybody, of episode 51. Bo, where were we?
Just seconds after Caffelli was running frantically towards Stanley, she eventually succumbed to her own curse. Standing still, running in a statue, her face contorted and she made her way towards Stanley. Anger and anguish and horror and shock spread across her face. Nash, you are a dragon standing in the middle of the pool. The water splashes back down and becomes a normal pool, silent and still, water covering everything. Stanley is standing there with a mirror in front of his face, looking like Romper Room. Do you guys know what that is?
Yeah. Yeah. We had it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Romper Room.
Loved it.
She's looking in the mirror. And the room settles into quietness. And for a brief second, the ground lurches. Rumbling happens. And Bok is feeding good berries to Varel's stone mouth.
Are they just falling out?
He's just pressing them in, as Kyle described, just pressing them into his teeth, to his nose, into his eyeballs. There's just all these smushed good berries.
It's like a Cookie Monster. Cookie Monster can't actually ingest the cookies. It's like that. I love it. I love it.
Bok inventory says he has a war horn.
Yes.
Can he give a mournful?
Yes. After attempting so desperately, he takes out the war horn and lets out a sad note.
Oh.
Hope 2, you notice, is standing there, still, guns out, in an action pose, unmoving.
Nash, stop being a dragon. We need to figure this out.
Oh, sorry. And I shrink myself down.
All right, roll 1d4 levels of exhaustion.
Okay.
-1.
-1?
-1 to the roll, please.
Sorry, did you say D4?
D4.
Six is all.
Nope, try that again.
Wait, what'd you say?
A 1d4 can't roll higher than a 4.
Oh, I thought you said 44s.
No,
Oh.
no, you'd be dead. If you roll a 6, 6 is death. The 6th level of exhaustion is death. You die.
Then 1 level because I got a 2 on a single die.
Okay, perfect. So added a level of exhaustion to your part character.
I'm doing that now.
That means I think you fail. You have disadvantage on your rolls, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, because you don't have any active conditions.
I can't remember where I do this.
I believe it's under conditions. No, it's not.
I just don't remember.
Yeah, it is. It's the bottom. If you scroll down from conditions,
there it
it's
is.
at the bottom there.
Oh,
Yep.
so yeah, you're back to exhaustion level 1, which means you have disadvantage on your ability checks.
Yep. Okay.
I'm sorry, I just can't stop laughing. I rolled a 6 on a d4.
Do we? I did 4d4 is what I did. Do we have our temporary 8 points of life are still there? We still have our temporary hit points?
Yes.
I mean, I would because I was in dragon form and now I have them back, right? Because I'm back to my state before. Okay.
That's right.
All right. Just checking.
A somber quiet hangs over the room.
Nash, I don't know how to undo this. When I told her to free Varel, I know the spell worked. I know the magic hit, but she didn't have the means to do so.
Well, clearly there's more going on here than what you're used to. I mean, if the spell hit and it didn't work, then in effect it doesn't matter.
The magic wouldn't have allowed her to harm herself. Maybe she has to die in order for this to take hold. The whole purpose of this spell was to keep these supposedly immortal beings in check. That's why they're petrified. But if we kill her, and it frees them, it's also going to free all of these.
all at the same time. That
Well,
could
maybe we start smashing statues.
would that kill them? I mean, does that ensure anything, or are we going to have heads rolling around and little hands moving around?
I mean, I'd rather that than full-on vampires chasing after us. I don't know what it's gonna do, but we need to get Hope and Varel back.
I think I agree.
All right.
I don't have anything to break anything with.
Got mold earth.
I'm gonna go collect diplomacy, which would have fallen down to the pool sometime during that fight, probably right at the
Cool. All right.
end.
Well, you know,
And I'm gonna go over and start trying to topple vampire statues.
yeah, I guess I can just go start tipping them over and then whacking them with my ball to try to break them apart.
I just want to point out you do have mold earth, which affects dirt or stone.
Oh, this could have. Oh, interesting. I didn't think of them
Oh,
as.
And Eldritch Blast is force damage, so I can start aiming that at heads, shattering them.
Yeah,
Okay, sure.
I'll
So
do
there's about
some.
100 statues that aren't Hope or Varel or Caffelli. So the process of breaking this stuff down might be about an hour of labor.
That's okay. Let's do it.
We got to do it.
I'm not that exhausted. Let's
Okay.
do it. I'll use mold earth. That's a great idea. I didn't know I could do that to objects
In an
that
effort
were not
to
in
displace their feelings, they're not sure what they're feeling. The heroes begin destroying statues with Eldritch Blasts. And Nash, are you remolding them into some shape or just dismantling them?
I'm turning as best I can. I'm turning them into as many tiny, small, particulate pieces as possible.
Okay.
Not dust necessarily, but I don't want functioning parts and pieces that could form or do anything weird.
Stanley's method is messy as it explodes them into a whole bunch of rocks and pieces all over the place, and yours is very methodical as you begin just breaking them down back into stone particulate. An hour goes by as you begin working through all the spells. I assume these are both cantrips?
Yes.
Mine is, yeah.
Yeah. You begin breaking down all the statues in the room, but Hope, Varel, and Caffelli.
Is that all of them? Is that it?
All that are in this room. No guarantees that if there were statues in other places that they aren't going to turn into vampires themselves, but
Never been so sick of molding earth in my life.
it's more important to have our friends back.
Agreed.
All right. There's one more.
Who's left?
Nash,
Yeah.
break her apart.
Oh, we haven't done her yet?
No, because that's the theory, man.
Okay. Yeah, duh. That's the whole point. Right. We're save her for last because then she breaks the spell. All right.
Maybe.
Maybe, yeah.
This
We
could
don't
be
even
really
know.
a bad idea.
All right. I'm going to mold earth on her, and I'm going to say the following as I do it. Here I am to mold your earth. You'll wish you never had a birth.
All right, and you mold her down into fine particulate.
Yep. Little pieces. Little tiny pieces.
Sprinkles apart into little pieces in front of you, crumpling and gone. A moment passes, a moment more. There's no change in Varel or Hope.
Shit. Nothing's changing, Stanley. It didn't work.
I don't know what to do. I don't know how to fix this.
You might consult your knowledge of the arcane.
All right, let's do an arcane check on the on the petrified Varel and Hope.
Mm-hmm. With disadvantage.
Can I use my inspiration I haven't spent yet to eliminate your disadvantage?
You can.
I want to do that.
It's your exhaustion, not mine.
All right, I'm taking my inspiration off. Oh, Arcana. Okay, here we go. Ooh, natural 20 plus 6, 26.
You examine the statue of Hope and Varel, looking to figure out what arcane puzzle must be solved to reverse this situation. And surprisingly, you come up with an answer. Realize that the arcane arts can be used as a form of good, as a form of regeneration, as a form of restoration. To take cells and reform them back into the way they were meant to function. That magic of this kind eludes you and is not something that you're capable of doing. But you know that it must exist. You know in your soul that the ability to greatly restore magic is possible.
Subtle.
So you're going to need... You will need magic such as the Greater Restoration spell or some other magic that may exist to reverse the effects of the petrification.
I tell Stanley what I've learned.
It's not anything I'm able to do. Maybe that tiefling that we met prior. Either way, we're in a bad spot here.
We can't leave them here, though, can we? I mean, I guess no harm will come to them. Ugh, I don't like the idea of leaving them.
Well, we don't know when he's going to come back. The only option we have would be to try to go to him. And he's in the Weir. We have the means to do so.
I don't know that we have a choice. We have to. What else can we do? But I don't think we split up. We both need to go. Plus, I have the key.
Leaving them alone for a long time, potentially.
I will use the key to the Chateau Weir.
Okay, you take the key out, and you're going to have to get somewhere lower beneath the earth, you realize, in order for you to be able to use it.
Well, shit. How much lower?
It says 100 feet below the surface, I think, on the tooltip. You were able to use it in Diantalis's study.
Could
Not
I?
Diantalis.
Oh, I got to study.
Oh, yeah, your own den, really. Well, can I? I can't do like Minecraft style with mold earth and just create like dig down 100 feet, make it so I can get back up.
You can dig a hole, sure, if you like, in the ground.
Nash, let me remind you.
You can form a stairwell out of the earth and carve yourself out a stairwell to go down, so you have to fall.
100 feet, huh?
I mean, you're already somewhat below the surface. So you wouldn't have to go a full 100. Probably another 50 or so.
All right, I'll suggest this idea to Stanley, just so I want to hear what he would say. If I said, hey, I'm going to make a stairwell out of this dirt, what would you say?
I suppose that's as good of idea as any. I'm extremely uncomfortable with the idea of leaving them behind. Is there a way we could hide them? Maybe use your mold earth in a similar fashion, at least should someone wander in here to where they wouldn't be seen.
Yes, we could bury them.
Well, maybe not bury in case...
I could put up a wall.
I don't know. This is new ground for me, Nash, and I'm uncomfortable with the idea of burying our friends in dirt. I was thinking more hidden.
I completely agree. Burying's not the best idea, but we could make a false wall, keep them behind it, and it would look like a normal wall to anyone else who would come in here. So that would be fine. Or we could bury them. It's probably not going to hurt them until we need them. I could also shrink them, but that only lasts a limited amount of time.
How long does that last for?
Right now, let's see. I forgot how long.
It's 1 minute.
1 minute. It's not very long.
That's not very long.
But didn't we determine that if we go to the chateau, it's time holds still there, or like time's different?
Time between the planes is different.
So, I guess what I'm saying, is there any reason for me to pursue the idea that time would be moldable enough that minute could be drawn out to be as long as we need it to be, and then come back during that minute?
No, a minute in the Weir would be a minute in the Weir.
Okay.
Same as minute on the Earth would be a minute on the Earth.
Okay. All right.
I think we do the best job we can to hide them in case anyone happens in here, and we go ourselves.
I agree. I'll mold a. I'll try to fashion something that's doesn't look ridiculous, that we can put them behind. Are they very heavy?
They're made of stone.
I don't
People made
want
of stone,
you,
they're
especially, or me, I'm not very strong either, trying to move them. If they fall and break, this is for nothing.
Can Mage Hand lift them?
No.
Well, a fat lot of good that dumb hand is then in this scenario.
I conjure it and slap him in the face with it.
Do you have any spells that can make things lighter than they are?
Featherfall, I'm not sure it would work in this sense.
It doesn't levitate.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, it doesn't need to levitate. It just needs to make this stuff lighter. But it's not the same as it. Fall speed is different than mass. All right. Well, let's just build
A wall.
Yeah, I'll build a wall. If we can't move them, though, it's kind of random. So if somebody comes in here, they're going to see
Well,
this
Nash,
weird
use your
wall.
creative brain. Make it look as natural as you can. Anything is better than just two statues in the middle of nowhere.
All right,
People to get all curious about.
I'm going to try to... I sort of angrily turn from him and reach my hand out and... this may not be a perfect fit, but I'll take whatever is it. And then just build the turd-looking wall around them as best I can.
To seal them in?
To
Make a column to seal them
Yeah,
inside?
and to obscure them, to hide them, to cover them.
Hey, you make a hollow column pillar around each of them as they're in separate places.
Yeah.
And so you slowly erect from stone and sand and earth 2 large columns connecting from the base to the ceiling around them where they can't be seen.
Yeah.
I imagine we have to kind of pull Bok away.
Oh, right.
Yeah, you pull Bok away before you mold Earth on Varel. He doesn't want to go, but you're able to overpower him and pull him out, and then you build the wall.
Okay.
And he looks to you and he goes,
I know you don't understand me, Bok, but we're going to do what we can to get Varel back.
No! 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 His crying sounds terrible and awful as he begins just bawling. He's like, it's this awful noise filling the room. It's pitiful and sad all at once.
All right. Well, he goes with us. I mean, we could leave him here to watch things. Is that a bad idea?
I mean, they're encased in a stone pillar. I don't know. He is a chaotic force, but at least someone would be looking out for the place. But we also can't exactly speak to him to tell him what we need from him.
But he'll also be a giant mess in the weir. I mean,
Well,
he'll
this
just...
is also true.
Yeah, he'll freak out. I think we need to leave him here. I look at the creature earnestly as best I can and say, Bok, stay. Watch Varel. And I point at my eyes and I point at the pillar that is Varel and I say, watch Varel.
I'm not quite sure what he's saying.
I'll walk over to the pillar and say, Bok, and I'll point at myself and then I'll sit by it and I'll stare at the pillar and go, Bok. And then I say, you Bok. And I point at the pillar.
Make a persuasion roll.
I was hoping this was going to happen. All right. Persuasion. Ooh, I have a lot. 24. Wow.
Okay, so after some ruminating on the part of Bok, he goes, and you think he understands.
Okay. We'll kind of
He's gonna
slowly kind of walk
Now-
away and keep our eye on him. Make sure he's.
kind of been doing this RP and stuff, and hoping Kristen and Kyle have been silent. I don't want them to feel like they can't speak. If you guys want to talk about what's happened, this is the first time we've actually had to deal with PC death on the show, and
Wait, they're dead? They're not dead.
they're effectively dead. There's a way to restore them, but they're effectively dead.
All right. Just use your happy words. I'm not ready to hear that they're dead.
It's, I guess, what I more mean from a more practical perspective is that we need to decide what we're going to do, as it doesn't sound like there's an easy solve that's going to be like in the next 10 minutes to bring them back to life. So we might have to
Yeah,
figure
no, I
out
mean,
what we're doing for characters.
sometimes you show up to D&D and you get petrified, and we wouldn't be aware of these actions. So much like an episode might happen without us, we could head out, I guess, and let you guys weir it up.
That seems weird. I think we just convene. I think we'll have to convene a little early and figure out what we're going to do, because we want you guys to keep playing, obviously. But if there isn't a quick solve to get your characters back, we're going to have to get you some.
There was
other
if they had restored from the death of the Medusa.
You know?
Yeah, we went for the obvious one.
We had a quick fix ready for you guys.
The thing that it's tied to the creature, right? The thing that Nash learned earlier in the dungeon caves wouldn't help.
Dungeon
The
caves.
thing about the basilisks.
Oh, right.
Yeah.
Oh,
I forgot about that.
But I think it requires a potion. I don't know if any of us are capable of making a potion.
well,
We
let's
thought
see.
about going and getting it, right?
Yeah.
And then it was like, well, how do we carry it? And none of us had a bottle or anything. and we were
yeah,
like,
normally-
eh.
Yeah.
Player game table, but he did nat 20 that Arcana, so maybe.
Oh, that's a good point. So,
Yeah, you did learn that the gullet and fluids within can be handled to produce an oil that returns petrified creatures to flesh and life. And I did explain this when you were studying his guts. So, good memory, and that's why I wanted you guys participating. You are allowed to participate in the game even if your characters are dead in terms of this. Did you take the gullet?
I don't think anyone took it.
didn't
'cause
have a
we-
way to carry it,
yeah.
I think, is the problem.
We didn't have a way to
Well, you could
transport
carve it out. It's the gullet. It's not like the whole basilisk. I thought
we had to get the essence of it or whatever in a bottle, and we didn't have a
We
flask
needed the
or a
oil,
bottle.
and we didn't have a bottle. I think it's still down there, but we could go get it.
yeah.
What sort of look at Nash? Look
What?
at your patches. Do
What?
you have anything we could put oil in?
Hold on, I'm looking. I could soak it. Where the hell's my damn thing? Other possessions. Okay, let's see. I got a rowboat. That's probably too big. I got a ram. That's no good. Iron door. Riding horse with saddlebags. 2 sacks. 10-foot poles. 2 of those. I got 1 steel mirror left. 2 bullseye lanterns. 2 daggers and 50 feet of rope.
There might be something in the tiefling in Nobieri's study.
That's true. Didn't Nobieri kept a head in a jar, didn't he?
I broke the
Which
jar.
was broken on the ground.
Oh,
Oops.
I mean, a lantern does allow you to put oil in it to burn.
I
might
mean,
even
we
have
just need to be able to carry it.
Let me look at my equipment for a minute. Oh,
A water skin.
What do
too,
you
might be
have,
a
water
little
skin?
oil.
all right. So just to RP the way the conversation has turned. Nash, I remember when we took out the basilisk, we found that that was a solution for petrification. Do you think, with what you know about this, that would work on Hope and Vorel?
Well, I'm no more certain than the death of the Medusa, but it's worth a shot. I thought that was going to work, so I mean,
All
sure,
right.
sure, it's an idea, and I don't know that it takes us too far off the path to get it done. To try.
In that case, I take out my potion of clairvoyance, open it, and
You should drink it. Wouldn't hurt.
why not? Hold on. Let me see what clairvoyance does.
Just don't pee it. Don't dump it out. You should drink it.
Pee in it?
Don't pee in it. Don't do the obvious thing, which is peeing in it. Don't do that.
It would be really cool if the potion said what clairvoyance did without having to look up clairvoyance separately. Okay, one second.
No.
Visible sense or location familiar to you, a place you visited before, or in an obvious location that is unfamiliar. All right, I'm going to go ahead and drink the potion of clairvoyance
Okay.
with the intent of seeing that room that had the basilisk in it
Oh, yeah.
to make sure that the body is still there.
Nice.
Okay, just a moment. Sorry, I need. Do you have a link for the spell, just so I can? I think you got it right and everything. I just want to.
I do. Here it is.
You create a sensor within range, which is familiar to you. The range is 1 mile.
Oh, we might be further than a mile away from it.
Or an obvious. Okay, no, I don't think so. The sensor remains in a place for duration, and it can't be attacked. You have to choose seeing or hearing.
Seeing.
And choose the sense. As an action, you can switch between seeing and hearing. Okay, cool. All right, perfect. You drink the potion of clairvoyance, and the room begins to distort and shake, and your eyes misshape. As all of a sudden, your vision becomes filled with the dark room, and through your dark vision, you're able to see the room with the basilisk corpse, and you see it lying there as you left it. There's no sounds of any creatures nearby.
All right, I'll let my senses return. Nash, it's still down there. I think we could do this. We'll need you to reshape the earth. I know you closed that passage off, but I think we can get down there and do this. And then I have an oil flask in my inventory as well. I will use a little bit to refill the lantern that I do carry on the off chance we need to give it to Varel, and then dump the rest out onto the ground and press the digitate just to make sure that there's no potion left in either vial, just so things don't get weird.
Okay. Okay, very good. So you guys undertake to head back down to the underground. So you move back out the main entranceway. You move through the crypt down to the passage that you found in the crypt. Periodically, the ground seems to lurch a little bit, and it's very alarming, like there's a mild earthquake going on, but not a lot of sound with it. You make your way through to the crypt, back to the passage. You find all the secret openings, make your way back into Nobieri's lab, enter the ritual room using the key. Oh, you don't have the key.
That's okay, because I have the spell knock.
All right, you cast the spell knock, which I think that just, there's no save or anything on that. That just unlocks a lock, right?
Mm-hmm. The only negative to it is that it does produce a very loud sound. But
Okay. You produce a loud knock, and I believe that undoes an arcane lock for 10 minutes. Is that right?
Yes. If you choose a target that is held shut with an arcane lock, the spell is suppressed for 10 minutes.
Okay. So you have to use it. You realize that there's magic governing the doors as you use the spell. The key is required, but it's bolstered through magic. So you unlock the first door with knock. A loud knock happens. You make your way into the ritual room. There's yet another door to get through. You'll have to cast it again.
Okay.
How are you on spell slots?
I can use
But
it
if
at
the
a third
actually
level,
if you
right?
leave
Eventually?
if you leave the doors open, they'll remain open.
Oh,
Because-
great. We're doing that.
Yeah.
Leaving these doors open.
So you open the second door, you make your way through past the 4 suits of armor that are down there, and you swear as you go to look at one, it looks at you and then looks back away, and you swear it's watching you, these suits of armor. You move through the suits of armor to the prison where you know the passages, you open it up and you see the vine stalk there. You climb down the vine stalk and you see there's nothing nowhere to go, and Nash has to again carve through the walls. So Nash, you begin using your mold earth to
Okay.
reshape and reform the passage open. And as you break through, you hear, "I'm the king! I'm the king! This is my cave! This is my foot! I guard the river! I love this cave! It's my home! It's my home!" And you hear this echoing all through the walls as you sneak past back where you fought the undead along the water and through the caves carefully and quietly. And after about an hour and a half of travel and time opening them up, you make it back to the room with the basilisk corpse in it.
All right, I will get on in there and get the gullet.
Yeah, excise it.
Survival check, please, as you attempt to excise the gullet.
I'll assist him if that helps. I don't know if that'll give us any
Yeah,
advantage.
yeah. Give him some advantage.
Okay.
Nice, I like it. And I'm really glad you did, because this is not the best roll ever. So with advantage, it's a 16 for a survival check.
Okay, and you manage to carve out the gullet somewhat crookedly, but you get it, and you see that there's an oil, like a bluish, grayish oil inside the gullet.
All right, we'll start dumping that into the vials.
Okay. And you start dumping that into the vials, and then your brain immediately starts going, what you would need to make an oil out of this. Not being well versed in alchemical recipes, your brain starts just kind of going.
Can I do a knowledge check towards that? Is there like a medicine check or anything?
It would be Arcana, because we're talking magic.
How's your Arcana bonus?
It's not great. Maybe
You guys can assist. You guys could have a debate. You guys could sit and debate, and that would be assisting. Because
Nash, what do you know about making potions of this kind? I'm not great at it, but I suspect you might be a master of it, and I'm gonna give him inspiration.
Oh, sweet. Okay.
Okay, so keep in mind that he's exhausted.
And I'm gonna assist him.
Oh, okay. So it'll be a regular roll with
inspiration, regular roll. You can add a
Neutralized.
1d8 to it.
Oh, what? All right. So my first roll, Arcana, so 17, that's what is that? 24. Plus, I'm sure this is gonna hit, but plus, what'd you say? 1d8.
Yeah.
that's
3.
not an attack.
3.
What's the total? 3 plus what?
16 plus 3.
16 plus 3 is 20. Okay. You sit there thinking you have to pull a recipe for this magical brew out of thin air, and you try to think back to your time in the solar mines and what you might have heard of these things, and the books from Twilight enter your mind again, and they're really not helping right now.
Pushed out some of those pop culture references. Find something we can actually use.
But you have a sense that you could form an oil, just you would probably need. You're thinking that because what turned them to stone was an eyeball, you're thinking that mixing in eyeballs to the oil might, and then zapping it with some kind of catalyst, maybe something Stanley has, would produce an oil that might have the effect, but you can't be sure.
Where are those eyeballs we saw? I don't remember shit about them.
I think they wound up in the ritual room, spilled all over the floor. Is that right?
Is that
I mean, we would have probably just seen them going past
Yeah,
them.
Varel brought the drawer full of eyeballs into the room that time. You did see eyeballs scattered across the ritual room as you passed through it.
All right. Well, we have eyeballs, plenty that we have access to.
I need a handful of eyeballs.
What's this catalyst that you're looking for?
Well, I don't know. What do you have that's, I don't know, something that would pulverize these ingredients, resulting in an oil? I don't know.
I mean, the blast that I fire might be a little bit overkill, and besides, that's just force. I can heat metal. We could
Anything with
expose
an
it to
attack
heat.
roll. Anything with an attack roll can be done non-lethally.
All right.
So you can do a little wimpy version of it?
I can blast it with an Eldritch Blast. A light one. Just a little. Just give it a little zap.
All right.
I'm confident I can do this.
This is a workable plan. It's not far from here, is it? Remind me, Bo.
Well, you have to make your way back through the cave again, and then back up through the ritual room. You walked through it on the way here.
Shit.
It's on your way back, anyways. You're
All right,
technically
well,
going
yeah,
back.
we'll get it on it. We're not going to make it here anyway, so yeah.
Yeah. So,
So-
all right,
so
so you
we'll-
take the gullet, You
Yep.
begin moving. You move through. The ground lurches again beneath your feet.
Great.
It's kind of sickening this time. You have to clutch against the wall, and it just really unusual
That's
going on with the earth.
incredibly unsettling, and I'm going to choose to continue to ignore it.
All right, so you make your way back through the passage safely, and then you begin hearing, "I'm the king! I'm the king! I'm gonna eat my foot because I have no other food!" Ah! And you hear the screaming, and you hear the sawing sounds, and it's like, "Ah! It hurts,
Oh
but
my
I'll be
God.
fed!" And you hear this echoing through the hall, and you just ignore it as you go back to the vines and close up the cave behind you, presumably with your mold earth, so that no one gets through. You climb up the vine. You make your way back through the prison room. You see the suits of armor. You swear they're looking at you, but you can't really catch them. You make your way back to the ritual room, and you see all kinds of shit on the floor that you guys left, including the eyeballs. And
We
you begin
unprop the
scooping-
doors too. We'll let those doors shut again.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, you let the one door shut because you still want to get out of the ritual room
Right.
behind you, and then you collect up all the eyeballs. So now you've got a pocket full of eyeballs.
Okay. I'm going to put that in my inventory.
Okay. Well, it might not last there long, because I assume you're using them.
Yeah,
He just wants to, at one point, have that in his inventory.
I do.
I just worry that they'll get used, but they'll stay on the sheet, and then we'll be, 30 weeks later, be like, I got this pocket full of eyeballs. What are they for? None of us will know.
I'll say they're decaying just in case.
Okay.
All right, so we'll grab those, and I'll say, all right, I think this is it. Let's get in. Let's go. I guess we should do it here and then go, or should we do it there, Stanley?
I mean, I don't think it greatly matters. Where here's as good as there, unless you know that the potion will wear off over time. You're the one who understands this, not me.
Well, you both remember that you didn't really consider it too much, but there was a Bunsen burner in the study room, but it didn't really jump out at you as a detail while we were in there.
Okay.
I mean, I don't describe every item in a room, so I'm just. mentioning it.
okay.
It's like no one gave a shit about a Bunsen burner, but now that you need to make a potion, you're like, oh, wait a second.
Turns out now we need it. And hey, Nash, I didn't think much of it at the time, but I vaguely remember there being a Bunsen burner in that study. Really didn't mean anything then, but now I have a use for it, and I recall it.
There you go.
Do you I thought you had some sort of flame power that you could slow burn.
No, that would be a bonfire that I used to be able to do, and it was very big and very dangerous and frequently caused us a lot of problems.
Yeah. I mean, I have firebolt, but even a non-lethal use of firebolt isn't a slow burn.
Bunsen burner's good enough. Let's go in there. If I still need to zap it, we'll zap it. Let's make the potion.
All right.
Okay, so you make your way down the hallway through the burnt room of burnt books. You realize you can't use the bottom passage because the cage has been moved back on top when you tiny hutted in there. You'll have to knock this door open, though, because it's reclosed.
Okay. Can I cast it at 3rd level?
You can.
All right. 3rd level knock.
Pow! You give it a knock and it slams open. It slams against the wall, and now you're able to enter the room. You see the Bunsen burner you remembered from there on a little lab table off to the left. You go ahead and turn that sucker on. And there's a little clamp on it where you can hook in your potion right on top of it.
Well, and that's very convenient.
Does it have
Go
fuel?
ahead.
Do I need to look around for fuel for it or anything?
It's burning right now. We're gonna put the potion on it.
All right.
So we put the first potion on it.
Yeah. You put the potion with the oil, with the gullet leavings.
Does it still need a zap?
Well, it needs eyeballs, probably.
yeah,
and
so
it'll probably need a zap at some point. But it begins to bubble. Blub, 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 blub.
I'll reach in my pocket. I'll dig around. I'll find one that seems right size-wise. I'll hold it up to my good eye and say, "Here's looking at you, kid." And I look at Stanley and say, "Something I learned in the solar mines." And then plop, I put
Just
it in.
Put it in.
It's
the
in,
potion,
it's in.
Nash.
You put one of the eyeballs in the potion. Doesn't look like enough.
Another eye.
Holy shit. Someone hammering right above me. It is so loud. Sorry.
So
We
you
need
put how
another
many
eye.
eyeballs did you put on?
How many do I need? Do I know how many I need?
probably need like it needs to be a third eyeball.
Why don't you
probably.
just eyeball it?
All right, I'm gonna put three eyeballs in it.
You put 3 eyeballs in it, and you see the eyeballs sort of float on top and then sink into the blue-white oil. Needs more for sure.
Okay, so I'll grab a couple more, drop 3 more. We'll put 3 more in.
Yeah. You put 3 more in, and they sink into the oil. You probably need a third. It probably needs a third eyeballs.
Okay,
A third portion.
a third
to the
portion
oil.
of 3. Okay, I got 3 more. I don't know how many more I have, but I got 3 more at least.
Got about 50.
Okay. Oh my gosh.
Well, that's a lot of eyeballs. You really overdid it with how many you took. But that's good.
Yeah, it turns out we need
Nash,
it.
I'm proud of you for planning ahead.
You probably should put them all in as you're thinking.
Oh.
All of them?
It's not that big, is it? It's like
We've been trying to. Yeah, it's like a vial, I thought.
Can I really?
No, I'm picturing something a little larger. We didn't really talk about the dimensions of the potion.
All right, we'll say it's. We'll say magically these eyeballs are just being consumed very quickly and.
Also, I was trying to make 2 potions. Has there not been enough to fill up both? So, like, when I got the gullet and it had the liquid, I was trying to put it in both vials.
I was picturing it 1. That's my bad. Okay, you have it in 2 vials. I don't know where you got the second empty vial from, but
One was the potion of clairvoyance. The
Yeah.
other was the oil flask, which I emptied.
what's the oil flask made out of?
Oh, glass. Let me look.
as long as it
See if
isn't
it says.
stone.
It doesn't sound like the kind of thing you should heat up.
Well, I prestidigitated it clean.
No, but if it's an oil flask is not made of glass, you probably don't want to put it on a Bunsen burner. Like if it's leather skinned or something, you're just gonna set it on fire.
Yeah, it's clay. I guess we have 1.
But you can cook things on clay.
Yeah, but if clay is a stone, then
A
we're.
clay oil flask?
It's
Is
oil usually comes in a clay flask that holds 1 pint.
Okay, then you can heat it up. I think clay is fine to heat up.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's porcelain,
I don't think
basically.
it...
We're trying to make 2 potions here.
All right, let's simplify this. You put the eyeballs in the one, and then you put enough in. We'll say it's like 12.
Okay.
And they melt and turn into the oil, and they spin around, and you see the eyeballs sort of goop around and stick to the side. And as they swipe, they disintegrate, so they leave little eyeball swipes on the inside of the glass. And it's just waiting for its catalyst as it
All right.
begins to bubble.
I give
Okay.
it a light Eldritch Blast zap.
Okay, zap inside, and it begins to glow blue. And it makes a noise.
All right.
I think that's our sign. I think it worked.
Let's get it out of there. We'll use Mage Hand because I'm assuming it's hot.
Yeah, it is hot.
Mage Hand and
Mage hand turns red, but it doesn't complain.
oh, so good. Bring it over and we'll put a little stopper in it
Okay,
and gently set it on the table.
you do that.
And then we'll do it again with the other flask.
Okay, you repeat the same process with the second one, putting the eyeballs in, melting the liquid down, and then removing it. Mage hand after Eldritch blasting it.
Yep.
You hear lots of banging throughout the halls,
Sorry.
and the ground lurches again.
Oh my gosh, dude. He's like right freaking there. Wow. Sorry. Keep going.
So is this your family or is this a construction worker?
It's a construction dude. He's putting in our flooring in the
okay.
main floor, and anyway.
It's adding to the drama. You hear these noises in the game world. There's these loud bangs like happening throughout the world, so it fits everyone. Okay, so you now have 2 of these potions of, you think, cure of petrification.
All right.
We'll call it stone to flesh.
Oh, I like that. Stone to flesh.
Stoned flesh. Great.
You think?
Oh, okay.
We think.
What?
All right. We're taking them back.
All right, we're gonna make our way back.
All right, you
Towards-
make your way back through the crypt, through the passage, closing doors behind you, relocking them. Make your way through the crypt. Then you get to that place where you can either enter up into the cave or go down into the piped area where the sewage system is. You make your way down the metal rail walk, the catwalks rather, over the pipes, and you hear the pumps pumping water. Make your way into the room where you see no statues and 2 large stone pillars, and Bok sort of sitting there crying. He's crying in the middle, pitifully and very irritatingly.
Okay.
Now
Bok. It's okay. We're back.
All right.
He just says his name.
Okay.
Nash, get these pillars down, and do you know how this potion is supposed to be administered? What do we do with this?
Well, hold on a second, and then I do the pill. I say this. I say, I will now remove these pillars. Turns out they were only filler, and now they're gone.
Yeah. So the pillars melt away, revealing Hope and Varel in statue form.
And I turn back to you and I say, I don't know how these are administered. I mean, one would think you'd have to drink, but perhaps we just try pouring a drop or two and see if anything happens, and then I don't know. I'm unclear at this part.
I mean, I guess we pour some on them.
Yeah.
I don't know how else it would work.
Even a drop or two to see what happens. Maybe if there's an effect, we can increase how much we pour, or if we have to rub it all over them or something.
Okay. Well, you're the one who knows the most about it, so...
Who's doing Hope? It's a little inappropriate.
Would you grow up? It's saving somebody's life.
I'm just saying.
Now you've made it weird. Nobody was thinking it until you said it, and now people are thinking it.
But Varel's got just like a lump and a door. There's no wiener there, so I don't feel weird about touching him down there.
Well,
but
the same could be said about you.
Oh.
That's a good point. All right, let's drop. So we're gonna go over there and drip some on their head, just pour a little bit on. Let's start with Varel, a little bit on his big stony head.
Okay, you pour it on his head. All right.
Not very much, just like a few drops, just to see if there's
All
an
right,
effect.
Go drip, 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 and it sort of soaks in the way like water soaks into soil. It pools and puddles, and then soaks in, and you begin to see a patch of green on the top of the head.
Is it spreading or just?
It spreads out, but you need more.
Stanley, it's working.
Well, good. Keep doing it.
I'm gonna. I mean, I can't just drip it all over his body, one drop at a time. So.
Yes, you can. We literally have as much time as you need.
I don't know.
Basically, it looks like if you're eyeballing it, it'll take the whole one potion for one and the whole second potion for the other, assuming it continues to work as it appears to.
All right, well, if it's soaking in, I'm saying this to Stanley. Stanley, if this is soaking in, do I just pour until it's all soaked in? Like, what do you think?
I don't know.
Well, shit.
I've never done this before, Nash.
Neither have I. I don't know this part. This is new to me. I could rub it all over him, or I could drip it in. What would you do?
Rub.
You'd rub it?
You're probably going to have to rub it.
All right. Pour some in my hands. I hand him the tincture thing, and I hold out my hands. I say, all right, pour me some in here, please.
No, pour it on them as you were doing.
No.
And then rub the spots.
But it soaks in and goes away. There's nothing to rub.
Look, I will go take care of Hope with the other potion. You just do what you're doing over here.
All right, so I'm going to go, fine. I yank that one out of his hand, and I pour a little reservoir in my palm, and I kind of just start rubbing it over his head, and I start with his eyes because I want those to be not stone first, so maybe you can see.
You start rubbing it over him, and immediately it sinks in and begins freeing him from the stone as it begins turning green, and his eyes start to blink. And as you finish rubbing his mouth, Pharrell gains the ability to use his mouth again.
Pharrell, can you speak?
It's over?
Almost. Now, hold on a sec. I have an idea. I'm going to rub his arms down.
Yeah.
Okay, now you rub your own junk. Here, you can help me. And I give him some and reach all the places that you want, and I'll get all the places you can't. So I go around the back, and I do like the back of his neck and his back because he can't reach those spots. I'll do his tail.
Rubbing, and Varel, you can feel as he rubs, there's no sensitivity, but where you can see he puts his hand, eventually sensitivity begins to warm and your nerves begin to come back.
Okay, Bo, while I'm watching this, can I do an Arcana check to see if the rubbing is actually necessary or if I just had him do this unnecessarily?
You can. You
Okay.
can.
It's a 19.
Rubbing is not necessary.
Okay,
Ah,
so I
shit.
go over and I start using the second potion on Hope, just doing the dripping.
You begin dripping liberally in different parts of the body, and hope all of a sudden everything was black, but the world comes to, and you see Stanley dripping something all over you, and your body begins to free.
Thank you.
I'm over there cranking under Varel's tail while you're doing this.
Yeah.
Stanley, what's Nash doing?
He thinks you have to rub the potion on.
I can feel it. I can feel it working.
Yeah.
Keep going.
And you
now.
hear Varel! And Bakba comes charging down from where he was sitting, and he jumps up into your arm. He gives you love bites as he jumps into your arms.
I'm gonna yell back to Nash. Nash, make sure you do due diligence in his behind area. You don't want to leave that stone. He needs to be able to use the restroom and all of his faculties.
And I do this. I go, all right, I'm working on it. And then I look over at them and I see that they're not doing that. And I slow down and I go, you bastard. Why didn't you say something? And I throw the tail to the side and just say, gosh dang it. That was disgusting.
Yeah, you felt butthole.
Yeah.
Doing that.
All right, everyone's good? Do you feel stone anywhere, Varel?
I do a constitution check, survival check.
Yeah.
9.
You're completely freed from the petrification.
Huzzah! I say, huzzah, gentlemen! Were we victorious?
We were, as a matter of fact. Kafeli is literally dust.
Excellent.
You see that there are no more tiefling statues in the room.
We took them all down. No vampires, no Caffelli, no bullshit. And it was Stanley and I, not known for working well together, but somehow we pulled it off.
Thank you two.
Yes, you remembered well the basilisk we found down in the mines.
Well, we had a couple of ideas, but we got there eventually.
Very good. That's why I was able to engage with such gusto. I knew we'd be safe.
We did good. And Nash, as begrudging as it is for me to say this, I couldn't have done it without you. You did a fantastic job.
Well, thank you, Stanley, and I think I mean this with my whole heart when I say I could have totally done this without you.
I don't think that's true. I'm pretty sure I took out Kafeli, but, you keep believing what you want to believe, Jim.
Well, that's true, and you did do the other zap thing. I think this was a growing moment for us, and besides, our friends are back. You guys scared us back there. I
apologize.
It was looking very grim. Well, it's not your fault, We were dealing with a foe that I'm not sure you've ever faced before, Burrell.
No, I have not seen its like before with the helicopter snakes.
Well, she's gone now.
Now, I
Ground
will
lurches
say,
again.
yeah, actually, that's good timing. I was about to say, things have been a little shaky since we defeated Kafeli, and she did say that her patron might be a little upset about her demise.
And didn't she also mention something about Septoin attacking already?
Yeah, it sounds like the attack was already in progress. She said that the Guzzle Gang was not doing well.
So, how?
We get to the surface and we fight?
Is the castle built on the bosom of which we have defeated?
Well, it sounded like the church is where they go for the orgies.
Yes, the milky rituals.
So my guess, if we were to find Andriesta and banish her from here, that would be it.
Oh, that's part of this quest. That's So we're to fight a demigod next, or at least some sort of up-jump demon.
Is she even able to manifest up here? According to Kotobal Praith, the reason we're going after the principal was the restrictions that the principal puts on the demons themselves. Either way, it seems that one side is currently winning, and it's certainly not the side we want to win. We're still waiting to see if we're going to get the army that was promised. I guess the only question is, do we aid in the battle now, or do we let it continue to play out?
My thought is this: if Septwin can't enter a place that he doesn't own, we need to kill the reigning people, take control of the fortress, and then we just prevent him from entering.
There is still Softhead running around, and I believe he would be loyal to Septwin and willing to invite him in.
Yes.
Don't know if he would be able to, but that's a window that he has access to.
It's true.
Can I know Bokbok's crawling all over me, but can I do a nature check to see what sort of, like, vibrations these are?
Sure.
Yeah, just a 18.
The earth is angry. You
Oh.
recognize it not as the movement of a monster or a creature that you would hunt or something that dwells beneath the surface, but the very gods themselves are upset and moving the ground. These are earthquakes, and they're increasing in strength and in frequency.
We have heard this place is the product of Andrias's blessings, right?
Not originally, though.
Right. So we must find a power more ancient than her blessing in order to keep this castle afloat, standing above the teats.
Started off good.
No.
Perhaps a throne of which Hope, and I'll clasp Hope on the shoulder, must sit in and proclaim herself queen once again, and thereby banish the false deity of Milky Guzzles.
There was a way we didn't take, and it's supposed to lead to the throne room.
Well,
I don't think it can hurt.
let's go sit in a chair then.
I
mean,
agree, but
besides, at the end of the day, our quest benefits Andriesta as much as it does Kotobal Praith. I don't know. I believe that the Medusa lady attacked us on account of the fact that she wants to be in charge. But when it comes to these demons and their machinations with us, honestly, us acting against the principal would still be in their best interest.
Stanley, last we experienced these sorts of earthquakes or disturbances in the ground. It was when we lost those two gnomes and dragons burst from the ground.
Wait, what? You felt this already?
Before. I don't know that it's related or the same, but Stanley knows because he was there. I mean, I don't know if he knows that they're the same, but you were there with me, and that was the last time I felt this. So it may be unrelated. As we used to say in the solar mines, causation is not necessarily causality. So who knows? I mean, that's not the right phrase. Causation is not...
Make a history check, please.
Shit. Hold on.
I like that Scott trying to quote in a history check.
History's +3, so 16.
You have no idea what it is.
All right.
Tough check.
Well, thank you for that, Nash. That was insightful and deep. He is right. Last time we felt the earth move like this, a dragon did burst from the ground, but regardless, there's not much we can do about it here. I say we proceed to the throne room, we continue with our plan, and hopefully we have an army backing us up when we need it most.
Correlation is not causation, I yell out to everybody. And then I say, sorry, I'm just correcting myself. That sounds good, Stanley. Let's go.
All right, so the party sounds like they're ready to move as everyone hustles their way up the stairs in the room, back through the catwalks in the pump room where all the
Grabbing
water's
Mosstorm.
being pumped through. Picking up Mosstorm, which is still there. You collect all your belongings if you dropped anything. And you make your way, this time instead of going to the crypts, you make your way up a set of stone steps. And the stone steps turn to a second flight, and then a third flight, and then a fourth. And finally you make it to what appears to be the level that the stairs head to, and you hear the sounds of gunshots. Little muzzle flash out over the top of the steps. You haven't crest the steps, you can just see those flashes as you're approaching the top of the steps and going to be into view of the keep. You stop or do you proceed?
It's going outside?
Not outside, into the keep proper,
Oh,
out of the stairwell.
it's a light.
The keep is a light with muzzle flash, muzzle flashes of guns.
But we're a decent, I mean, we're a good distance away, right? We're
You
not,
can just hear it and see the muzzle flashes. You're
Okay.
just cresting the stairs where you'd be able to see what is coming.
Okay.
I just wanted to give you the option to stop or continue.
To the throne room.
If we proceed forward and we come across fighting, we can either attack everybody or we can choose a side and hope that they don't shoot at the people that are helping them. What's the call?
It's Guzzle Gang versus Monsoon Cabbage, correct?
That's my
Yes.
understanding of it.
So we have no friends in this stake.
no.
No.
Then I suggest create some sort of mist to run through.
And are you capable of doing such a mist, Vorel?
I've just assumed that you guys have such powers. Constantly use new things all the time.
Hold on.
Nash, are you able to make a magical mist?
Only when I eat too many blueberries, but I haven't had those today.
I might have something.
I have nothing. That he's,
Fog cloud. Yeah. And it's centered on itself at the second level. It's attached to the gun belt I have.
So you won't be able to move that cloud with you. I don't think.
Gotcha.
Yeah, it'll create it in an air. It's like a smoke bomb,
Within range.
basically.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So it's stagnant. It couldn't
Okay.
move with us.
Well, perhaps the Medusa's butt suggested to us that butts are magical here, and we place it in the seat. That's all we need to do. So we throw the smoke, we run through it, slam your buttocks upon the throne.
Do we see the throne, though? Can you see the throne?
No,
bro?
I see a hole with gunshots.
Oh, you're saying once we get close to
yes.
the throne. Okay.
We run the whole thing.
I mean, I don't necessarily follow your logic, but if that is ultimately our goal, I'm with it. I just think that perhaps rather than fighting everybody that's shooting at us, maybe if we were to show the Guzzle Gang we were aiding them in their fight, even though we're not, they might be less inclined to shoot at us as well.
And we saw how quickly George became somewhat of an ally.
I disagree wholeheartedly.
You would rather attack everybody.
Yes, I am done with these allegiances. I did not bow back then. I'm sick of trust me, oh, be my servant, and all that sort of business. I think
Well,
I'm done picking sides.
It's not a
Yes.
negotiation, it's simply a general deception.
How
As
about
you guys
this?
discuss this, you hear footsteps, heavy footsteps running towards your location. Tuk, 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 tuk. And then you see a Guzzle Gang, T-Guard, not T-Guard, Guzzle Gang, plate armor, runs at the top of the stairs. He's like, holy shit, holy shit, holy shit. Ah. And he begins running right past you guys, is just vaulting down the stairs two at a time.
Okay.
Case in point,
Are there-
we could
are there
have
any-
blasted that guy.
Are there? Well, no, he's right. He's running past you. He's like right next to you. He hasn't even stopped to acknowledge your existence. He's just running. Do you do anything?
I'd stick
I'm
a leg
gonna-
out and trip him.
Okay.
Try and grab his arm and ask him what's going on.
What a weird reaction to someone running in terror.
Acrobatics, I think.
Yeah,
maybe?
I'll do that.
It's an attack roll?
Trip.
It's not really an attack. You're trying to trip him.
I'm just trying to trip him and have
Yeah.
him fall, and then we can
Acrobatic it up.
question him. Yeah, it's not going to kill him. Hold
The
on.
guy who killed 2 people with sleep.
14. Acrobatics.
Okay, so yeah, pretty easily you stick your leg out, and he connects his leg on it, and he falls down the stairs.
I look around at you guys and just go, let's
Better
talk to
busy.
him. Let's see what's
Okay,
going
he
on.
falls down, and he hits the stairs on his neck. You hear a loud as he flips on over, and his body just slides limp into the corner where the stairs turn around. He stops moving. Dead.
What?
Although, okay, I think Stanley has a very good point. Keeping a lot of people alive, but how do vampires work? How do they turn you? Do they need dead? Do they need alive?
Aren't they battling super pixies up there?
Everybody's mad at me because Diane Tallis killed 1 guy and Nash just tripped a man to death.
I wasn't trying to
That's
kill him.
cool.
I wasn't trying to kill him. I thought
Nash
we
is a
could.
fool, Diane Tallis is a dick. There's a big difference.
Well, I can't argue either of those points.
I thought we could interrogate him, learn something, perhaps
Yes,
improve our
let
chances.
me go cast Speak with Dead and find out if there's any stuffed animals you can return to his family. You dick.
You hear gunshots, more, and you hear, no!
We need to go to the throne room.
Now's the time.
Let's go.
If you do not trust your legs, climb on me.
I like that. So then you guys all decide to start running. You press the what is the word? Crest the top of the stairs, and you're now able to see down a long, great hall of a keep. The roof is high up, and there's these archways. And you see doors on the left and right. And at the end, not it's the end of the hallway, but you see that the hallway opens up into a larger T-junction hallway, and you see a Guzzle Gang member run sort of backwards, shooting a gun. And then you see a giant, it just looks like Pod, but a male version. A giant Hulk-like pixie running, and then grab him by the neck, push him up against the wall, and he punches him. Punches his head again at his neck. Punches his head again, and keeps punching it until it turns into a fat paste. And then the pixie just looks at it and goes, throws it on the ground, and then you see when bullets hit his back and pierce flesh, and he looks around, he runs back down the hall out of view, and you hear no, and you hear muzzle flashes, and you hear the sound of flesh being torn. And as flesh being torn, a sheep runs around the corner and begins booking it in your direction.
A sheep?
A sheep.
Aw.
Like a little.
A sheep running towards you.
Okay.
Remember, these creatures have magical abilities.
Oh. It's a Guzzle Gang.
You guys are still running down the hallway, so you're saying this while you're running because you gave the directive to run at the throne room. So you run past the sheep goes, and it turns around and starts following you guys. as you guys run down the hallway. And then you get into the hallway and you turn around, you see the pixie with the bullets in his back, and he's over top of 3 other sheep corpses, punching them. And then as you guys sort of turn to look at your equipment's making rattling noises, it hears the noise, it turns around and looks at you. And then it turns around to face you. And then just as that happens, the roof explodes. And another pixie falls down to the ground and lands next to him. And then another wall explodes. And a third pixie comes up. And another one. See the roof explode, and 5 more pixies, gigantic Hulk style, just fly in and land on the ground. And one of them has like one of the Guzzle Gang members, and he just takes it and breaks it in 2 across his knee, and then rips it apart and throws them against both walls. And there's sorry, there are 8 pixies now just circling in front of you, all just about to charge, and there's this sort of silent moment that they're about to charge.
Go
And you hear
talk
this
to
loud-
Nash.
You hear this before anyone's able to react, except Stanley saying that funny thing. You hear and then and the side of the keep wall opens up, and these green, red, but changing blue to yellow tentacles fly in and wrap up the pixies and then draw them in, and you see the froghemoth 50 times the size it was and changing rapidly colors as he goes, and he starts eating the pixies wholesale, and his skin is changing colors. First red, first green, first blue, now yellow. He's changing colors wildly. He doesn't have 3 eyeballs. He has 18 eyeballs, and he has tons of tentacles flying all around. This guy is coked out on pixie blush like crazy, and the froghemoth just starts eating all the pixies in front of you, and then the tentacles come flying in your direction. And that's what we'll leave it for this one.
Holy shit.
That's awesome, dude.
Ah.
Wow. I don't even know what to make of it. We're going to die. That's what I think's going to happen next week. Well done. Great as always. Hope you guys enjoyed it. I'm a little stunned here. Hold on a second. None of my stuff's ready. All right, there we go. That's going to be it for today's There Will Be Dungeons. 52 will be next week. That's episode 52. So please tune back in and be a part of that if you would like to be here live. For those listening via the podcast, go check out the website and find those teas we talked about. I think they're excellent. And I got a little energy kick out of this one today. It was good.
The teas were great, and if teas will help bring your friends back from petrification, so try them.
That's right. There's a link right there on the site. ThereWillBeDungeons.com, along with every other detail you'll need to know. We'll read your emails next week as well. And we also will take a voicemail. Keep them short, 30 seconds or something. That's plenty. Here's the number, 801-471-0462. We'd love to hear what you have to say, and we'll play it right here on the show in lieu of an email week to week. So check it out. It's easy. 801-471-0462. That's going to do it for us, for me, for Kyle, for Kristen, for Bo, for John. We'll see you next time. Part of the Frog Pants Network.
Whoops, let me do that again.
This show is part of the Frog Pants Network.
Frog Pants Network.
Get more shows like this at frogpants.com.
We did it!
Buy our tea.